Someone paid you for a brand new solar panel and you deliver a used solar panel. I don't know why these people do this all the time. So the error code 04 is over voltage, but there's nothing over voltage here. It all is a problem with the charge controller from Felicity. All right, it's a widespread problem. I have a lot of installers calling me from all over. They all want solution, but unfortunately there is no solution. Hello everyone, how you doing? From me to you, you're welcome. It's the Home Tour series. My name is Ikenna from Smiling Sun. Everything solar installation, everything inverter installation, everything going green. We're somewhere in Osun State, everybody. This is my first time to Osun State. I absolutely love it out here. It is so cool, calm, it's very serene. And we are in this beautiful home today to set things right. We were invited by the owner of this property to find out what is wrong with the system. From his own words, he said, since this solar installation was installed, I've not been having fun with it. The idea of having this solar system set up was to have unlimited power supply, 24 hours, but that's not what I'm getting because I'm really very frustrated because the system keeps going off, keeps throwing off some very weird error codes. What's going on? Well, we are right here to set things right, okay? But when I saw his system, when he sent me the videos and the pictures, and I said to him, man, are you ready to upgrade this system and move away from the low voltage system to an IP66 hybrid, high voltage PV systems? Are you ready? And he said, sure, let's do it, man. And that's why we're here. And I'm very excited to show you guys the system we're going to use to replace the low voltage systems. And it's such a beautiful system. It has that ability of efficiency conversion of over 100% from your PVs. Everything that you have on the PV is going to be coming right in. There is no restriction. So we're going to be having great yield. And if you guys are ready, let's go check it out. Come with me. All right, so we're ready. It's a beautiful place like you can see. So let's see what the old system looks like. Okay, so this is what the old system looks like. We have 2 units of 15 kilowatt hour lithium battery from Seaworth. All right, and this is Felicity 10 kVA inverter. But of course, you guys already know that in power ratings, this guy is about 8,000 watts. So that's the power unit that it has. So there was 2 charge controllers here, each 120 amps. It's a Felicity same charge controller, okay? But one of them is blown up. It's been taken for repairs at the service center and it's remaining one. But this particular one seems to have a problem, okay? Because when they reached out to me, I told them, go ahead and disconnect it. And it seems to be throwing up an error code 04, which means over voltage. So the error code 04 is over voltage, but there's nothing over voltage here. It all is a problem with the charge controller from Felicity. All right, it's a widespread problem. I have a lot of installers calling me from all over. They all want solution, but unfortunately there is no solution. So the error code 04 is just the inability of the charge controllers to be able to regulate the voltage that is charging the batteries. So when it charges to around 55, 56, it loses control and shoots all the way to 64. And the lithium battery is not supposed to charge above 58.4. So every lithium battery has that voltage range from 56 to 58.4. It just is not able to control and regulate its energy charging of the battery. So most times you have the BMS of the battery shutting down at all time, which frustrates the homeowners all the time. So I've gotten a lot of calls from installers from all over. They're all looking for solutions, but unfortunately there seems to be no solution because I've personally reached out to Felicity about this problem, who said we should reduce the voltage to 55 volts. And that's not a full charging voltage for a lithium battery. The cells will never be able to balance if the battery charges to 55 and you turn it off. So the charge controller should be able to do its job of regulating the energy charge of the battery and fully charge the battery to the level where the cells of the battery is fully balanced. All right, so what we are doing here today is that we're doing an upgrade. This is a low voltage system, so we're moving out the low voltage systems to introduce the IP66. All right, so you're guaranteed right now to harvest over 100% energy yield from the solar panels, and that's going to be a very big bang for this installation. So one of the very good benefits that we're going to get if we take off this inverter is that the system is going to be more energy efficient, because this particular system seems to have one problem, and that problem is that the fan never stops. So the fan of the inverter is not supposed to be on at all time. The essence of the fan of the inverter is to regulate the temperature of the inverter. But what we've noticed is that this particular inverter, the fan never goes off. Now, whilst we're all focused on all the appliances that we connect to the inverter that is draining the energy, everybody seems to forget conveniently that the inverter too is connected to the battery. And if the fan keeps running, the fan would add to the extra load on the battery and continue to drain the battery. That's why the fan is designed to only kick in when the temperature of the inverter is rising. So the moment it brings down the temperature, the fan is expected to go off. It has a heat sensor. So when it senses that the system is heating up, and then the fan will kick in real quick and bring down the temperature of the inverter. So once it does that, the fan is expected to go off. But this particular inverter, the fan keeps running all the time, 24 hours. So that's going to be one of the major benefits that they would experience almost immediately once we take this guy off and introduce the IP66, thereby improving the energy efficiency of the solar system that they have. This is about one of the inverters that can guarantee you almost 100% energy yield from these solar panels. And it also has double battery terminals. That's the first in a long time. All right, so this is what comes with the system. Terminals of the battery is all included here. So it comes with a manual. It comes with an internet dongle so that you can monitor the energy generation of this system when you're far away. You can be anywhere in the world and be monitoring the energy generation that is coming from this guy. Okay, so this is the bracket to be able to mount it up on the wall. All right, so let's open up this guy. So this is what it looks like. It's called the Alp Solar. This guy is a mad dog. It's Alp Solar G2 12 kilowatt hybrid inverter. It's also a high voltage PV inverter. So it has a capacity of over 18,000 watts. So what it means is that you can connect 18,000 watts of solar panels to this guy and it's still asking for more. So it has all these terminals. So it has a PV1, PV2, and then PV3. All right, so this is meant for you to connect 3 different strings from the PVs. So you can see the 2 battery terminals that you have here. Number 1 is meant to reduce the stress on the battery terminals, and number 2 is for you to connect 2 different sources of battery right here. And it also has a gen load. You can connect a generator to this guy. Then you have the grid, and then you have the smart load. This is for the appliances that are deemed to be not critical. So when the battery is going down, this guy is going to automatically kick in and begin to turn off those critical appliances that are not needed. Guys, let's go. Let's bring it out. So the system is super quiet. So this is very, very important. So if you want your inverter system to look straight, it has to be properly aligned with a plumb. Then you kind of use this marker to indicate where you're going to drill. Right now we'll drill. So by the time you do that, you don't have to worry about the inverter tilting after you've already done the installation. So it doesn't have to be forced. Here we go, here we go. So we're going to put the fixtures in here, then that should be able to carry the inverter. But we'll first put on the bracket and then hang the inverter on top of the bracket. So that makes it like real solid, rock solid. Okay, so this is what we also discovered here. Most installers can actually be fooled by the marketers or the producers of this cable. So if you look at this cable, you can see that the flesh of the cable is very fat, but the copper that is inside is quite little. This is meant to be a 10 mm wire, but in actual fact is around 6 mm cable. You know, like I said, I'm not trying to blame the installer. I mean, you can be fooled, you know, by this type of wire. You know, so what they're usually trying to do is that they're trying to be very smart about it, really tricky and smart. They'll make the coverings, the insulated PVC on the body. They'll pretty much make it to be very, very fat. Then the copper that you have on the inside will be quite tiny. Okay, but 6 mm is okay for this, for the load that they have inside. It's properly rated. Just that it's pretty painful that you're paying for 10 mm, but in actual fact, the value that you're getting is a 6 mm. So this was perfect for the low voltage connections. Like I said, the installer that did this job did a very great job. I can't believe that for the very first time I come to a location and there's absolutely nothing to say. The installation was done topsy-turvy, all right? So this was what he used, which was quite adequate for a low voltage system. But unfortunately, this will not work for the high voltage system, which we've just introduced here. Come, let me show you what we're using. So we're introducing this guy. This is the perfect rating, which is 32 amps by 500 volts. So the reason why we're changing this particular circuit breaker, because lots of people will want to know, especially the installers, because also while we're doing this, we're also using it as an avenue to teach as well. So these ratings for every particular solar installation that you're doing, there's a rating for circuit breaker that works for it. And why the ratings are very important is that the essence of the circuit breaker is to be able to trip off if you have any threshold which has been exceeded. If the solar panels exceed 500, this circuit breaker is going to turn off. The same thing applies to the current. If the current is above 32 amps, it's going to shut off. So this particular one was perfect for the low voltage, but it's not going to work for the high voltage because the rating of this one is 125 amps by 1000 volts. So that's too much because the solar panel is going to be outputting 500 volts. So it will not be able to respond and trip when it's mostly needed. All right, because it's meant to kick in and then trip off to avoid any form of damage to the system. So this will definitely have to be rested. So we're introducing 32 amps by 500 volts, which is perfect. So here, this has already been connected. So this is going to be the load point. So it's going to be plugged in here. Okay, so this is going to be the load. We don't have any of those automatic gens that we're meant to connect here. So we're going to let the gen port be. But the load port is going to be connected down here. So each of the battery terminal here, we would have to assign it to each of the batteries. So we have a 200 amp hour battery here. It's a C-watt battery. So each of them is going to be assigned to one of the terminals. We just got the solar panels down and we're discovering that this, in fact, is not a brand new solar panel. That this is the already used solar panel. Someone paid you for a brand new solar panel and you deliver a used solar panel. I don't know why these people do this all the time. Do you know the implications? Number one, the person is never going to trust you again because this is a fraudulent act. Number two, there's a reason why this solar panel was sold off as a used solar panel. It means the efficiency rate has degraded. After a while, the solar panel loses efficiency. This would have been used for some project somewhere, and when they discover that the efficiency rate has dropped, they sold it off. And that's what you're delivering to someone as a brand new solar panel. This is wrong in every level. This is even a sticker. They pasted a sticker on this solar panel. I don't even know what this solar panel is. I don't know if it's a 585. I don't know if it's a 555. What I was told that was delivered here is a Jinko 555 watts. This is clearly not a Jinko solar panel. This is a very old panel. It's not brand new. So right now I am very confused. I don't know what is the wattage. I don't know what is the voltage. I don't know what is the current of this solar panel. This is crazy, absolutely crazy. So at this point, I have to get back to the gentleman who owns the property to decide what he wants to do, if he wants to install it the same way or leave it. I don't know, because at this point, I'm really very confused on what to do. This is wrong on every level. If someone has entrusted you with a responsibility, you do what you're told to do. Don't try to cut corners or compromise because you want to make profit. It's not sustainable. The moment the person discovers what you have done, it severs a relationship. I keep saying this all the time. If you do a bad job for someone or if you cut corners or compromise, it's just going to take a while, but the person is going to find out. So what happens if he does find out that what you deliver to him is the wrong thing, but you were fully paid to deliver a brand new solar panel? This is incredible. So, but for disclaimer, it's important to know that the installer is not the one that got the materials. The homeowner got the materials by himself, and he outsourced it to an installer, all right? So these solar panels were not supplied by the installer. The installer was called in to do this job, and the installer, I can confirm, did a fantastic job. All right, so I want to show you guys something. So if you look at the two batteries, if you look at the icon, you can see that one is discharged, one is fully charged. So what that means is that only one of the battery is discharging. So why exactly is that happening, that you have one of the batteries discharging but the other one is not discharging? So we need to check to find out what exactly is going on. I've tested the battery terminals and it's not supplying an output, which means there's something wrong with the battery. So the overvoltage that the charge controller was throwing up seems to have affected this particular battery. So we'll definitely have to find out, because this battery is quite big. We'll check to see if it's something we can fix. As a bit of some measure to see if we can find out exactly what is wrong on the inside and trying to see if we can fix it. But if we can't fix it, which is what I'm hoping won't happen, is that we would have to take this guy back to the service center at Seaworth for them to fix it, because the high voltage definitely has affected it. So we'll definitely have to move it out because it's not supplying an output from the battery terminals that we tested. So let's do that real quick. So we'll have to untie the bolt and open it from the back. But as an installer, if the battery has a warranty seal on it, you're not meant to do this. So the moment you open the back and you tamper with the warranty seal, you have voided the warranty for this product. So if it has a warranty seal, just leave it alone. Okay, or if you don't know exactly what to do. So we'll definitely have to open up this guy to check what's wrong here. Okay. So what we will definitely have to do now is to test to see if this fuse is blown or if it's still working. So if the fuse is blown, then definitely that's a problem. So we're going to use our continuity meter to test it. So let's test the continuity first to find out if it's working. So it's beeping. So if we test here in the continuity test and it's reading, that means the fuse is good. But if it's not beeping, that means the fuse is blown. So let's check it out. Aha, that seems to be the problem here. So we are pretty lucky. Extremely lucky. So we just check our bag and see if we came with a replacement fuse. So we just take this guy off. It's a 250 amps fuse, so we replace it and everything is good. So this guy should be able to start contributing its own quota to the grid. So let's do that real quick. So this is not coming off from the screen, so you have two options. Is either you use the screen option or you use the spanner option. So let's go for the spanner option and see if it comes out. Yeah, so that's pretty much solves it. So we have a replacement fuse here, so we'll just put this guy back and we're good to go. Also, to be sure that what you're putting there is working, you test it. So if it beeps, that means it's working. So this would pretty much solve the problem here. All right, so now that we have the fuse replaced, the next thing we need to do is to test the battery terminals. This is the positive and this is the negative of the battery terminal to see if it's beginning to output voltage here. So let's check it out. And here you go. Here you go. It's outputting 53.7 volts. So this indeed has saved us a lot of a lot of problems of having to move this guy all the way to the service center, a whole lot of inconvenience. So if you're an installer and you get into location, you need to come with this thing sometimes, because if we didn't come with this particular fuse, that means this guy will definitely have to be taken back to the service center. So let's go ahead and tighten it back and, connect it back to the flow. So this stage right now, we want to communicate the inverter to the batteries. It's very important that when you do your installations, the battery must have to be connected to the inverter. So the inverter has to monitor what's going on in the battery, because they have a BMS that is built into the battery and also a BMS on the inverter. So these guys communicate and they share information. So it knows when the battery is fully charged and all of those informations. Ensure that the batteries all charge and discharge at the same current. Everything basically. Monitor the temperature and all of that. So it's very, very essential and very vital that this guy needs to communicate with the inverters. Okay, so you also have the CT, which is a current transformer. All right, so that's this black thing that you have here. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this is called the current transformer sensor. It's usually clamped on the grid. All right, so this senses the currents that you have here and sends information back to the inverter. That's very important in situations when you have fluctuations in the current or the current is too high. This guy gets to monitor, sends information to the inverter so that the inverter can best protect itself. So that's the function of this guy. So it's usually clamped on the grid line. That's the input into the inverter. So it gets to monitor the current that is going in. And this is connected through a CAN head on CAN port. So you have the CAN ports arranged here. The one for the CT is going to be on the first port and the one for the battery. So this particular one gets to communicate with the battery. So you can see this red light that you have that is showing up on the fault. So if you want to do this installation and you're seeing this red light here, don't panic. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the inverter. It only means that the inverter is complaining that it's not communicating with the battery. It's not seeing the battery. Because once you set it on the lithium function, which is meant to regulate these guys in terms of the right charging parameters for the lithium battery, this red light is going to come on. And for some inverters, it will be beeping, making a lot of noise to ensure that you get to notice and do what you're supposed to do and connect the batteries to it. So this is the CAN connection for it. That's the communication cable for it. So the lights will keep showing, but the moment you plug in the communication cable in here, the lights will definitely disappear. And that's the one way of finding out if the inverter is not communicating with the battery. But the second way to find out is to click on this battery icon and you will see this SOC, which means state of charge. It will show you the state of charge of the battery. That means the system is communicating with the battery. So voila, the system is pretty much communicating. And now this is what I love about the Alp Solar. All the communication cable ports are all grouped into one place. And it has this very beautiful cover. So once you have this guy in and push it in, it covers everything and it makes it really, really very tidy and beautiful. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We've gotten to the stage where we need to connect this guy to the Wi-Fi. So this is the internet dongle that enables you to monitor the system remotely from anywhere around the world. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be under the sea. All right, so once you dial in into the router of your house, this is going to be connected to the router of the house. Then once you dial in or you connect, you can see the energy generation that is coming to this guy. You can see what the PV is generating. So I kind of like the arrangement, the coupling. It just shows that these guys are really very good when it comes to paying attention to details. So you put this in here. So once you put this in here, it's supposed to blink this green light showing you that it's connected. Okay, so we're going to use this extra wire for the third line of the string. So what was connected here in the first place is 2 strings. So what you have on the roof is 24 pieces of 550 watt solar panel. So each of them was connected to one charge controller. So one charge controller was housing 6,600 watts, while the second controller was housing 6,600 watts as well. So right now we're going to add a third string. So we're going to divide the solar panels into 3. All right, so we're going to connect it in series. We would have 8 on one string, another 8 on one string, and then the third one, another 8. So we're going to have like 3 lines. So we brought these cables to be able to provide that third line that is going to run through this. All right, so it does seem like the surgical procedure was successful. Nobody died on the surgical table. So it's fully installed right now. So everything pretty much is working. The cables for the batteries are connected on both of the battery terminals to reduce the stress on the battery. You have the communication cables connected. You have the Wi-Fi dongle connected. You have the MC4 connectors connected. You have all the circuit breakers properly connected, the surge connected, the AVRs, everything is functioning well. The battery is well connected. And of course, you saw when we fixed this particular battery. So the both of them are discharging right now. So let's check it out. So you can see that the both of them are charging at the moment. All right, so everything pretty much is in good shape. So we have the 3 strings connected from the PV arrays. So they are all pretty much working here. So I would want to say in affirmative that our job is completely done. So if you haven't subscribed, always remember this is how you support this work that we're doing, and we are very grateful. Don't forget to comment, don't forget to share, and do not forget to like. See you guys in the next one.